Welcome back to Franchise Hockey Manager 11 with the Philadelphia Flyers. As we look at the season preview for the 2030 season, we are currently among the elite. We're among the dark horses at least. They didn't count us out, and I never thought I'd see the day. Contenders are possibly Chicago, New Jersey, and Colorado. Mikhail Makar now 31 though, so it's kind of now or never for that kid over the next couple of years. And Edmonton has a possible goal-scoring competitor, a 4.5-star who kind of came out of nowhere. James Hoggins. When was he drafted? He was drafted first overall in 2025. So everyone listen for that name over the next couple seasons. That guy looks like he's going to be a standout player for sure. He only got 37 last season, but kind of looks like a center version of Kessel, at least, when he ended up first emerging on Boston. But we'll take a look at what we ended up doing in the draft and why we ended up drafting these players. Manuel Mers looks like he's pretty good so far, but he wasn't really projected to do anything. I'll show you his stats in a second. But we ended up getting him with the late first-round pick, but he does look pretty good. I mean, every aspect he can play. Up and down winger, probably the best one, but his physicals are off the charts. Even his offensive rating for this age is pretty decent, and even his defensive rating, other than hitting and shot blocking, it just seems like sky's the limit. His faceoffs are great, and I always look for determination to be at least 15 if I'm drafting someone a little bit above where he's supposed to be. Second pick was Carl Steger. We ended up getting him at 61. He was projected to be 41. And kind of the same story, except for I would say the other guy's a little bit better. Determination, at least 16, and temperament I also like to kind of focus on as well. We ended up getting Oben as well. We ended up getting with our third pick. He was projected to go first, so for the first pick that we ended up getting, he was projected to go there. But I feel as though we got a better deal out of it. This guy does not look like he should be a first round pick. I mean, counterattacking, maybe more of a grinder, but you wouldn't really waste a pick on a grinder like that. Aaron Berger, left winger. We kind of focused more on left wingers. He was the trade that we ended up getting for Kolosov before he ended up coming back onto our team afterwards. So it was mainly a trade for Powell. We ended up getting this 4th rounder and a next 4th rounder. And he was projected to be 109. We got him at 93. But again, he doesn't look like he's probably going to play in the NHL, so we'll jump off from that. This guy looks like he's pretty good, though. Free agent, though, so I don't really know what happens with free agents in WHL. I'm assuming we'd have to sign him, but this could have been a waste of a pick. And we get him with the 4th round. He was projected to be 81, so it'll be interesting to see how his career ends up after this. And then we end up getting a Guelph Storm player, Aiden Tiggy, I guess. We ended up getting him we traded away Briskalov. We ended up getting him, and then he got released immediately after. But he was Ilya Briskalov's son, so I figured we might as well try out with that one. I thought he was going to improve a little bit quicker, but apparently he didn't. Tiggy doesn't really stand out either. Getting open is pretty good, but seemed like the best available player. Age is a little bit higher than what I go for, but 1.5 stars to start. I feel as though we can only really go up from there. And then we end up getting Brody Stables with our last pick. He was projected to go 93, and we got him with 157. Stamina and determination. He could find his way into the league, but only a 2-star reputation or ability, and then at 20, doesn't seem like he's going to really make anything from it. Taking a look at our roster here, lines Benson, Carlson, and Forster. Forster's up for renewal this year. We're not going to probably extend him, not for a 4th liner. He wants 2nd liner money for sure. Barkey, Stenberg, and Martin, rookie, is joining us here. I might even put Martin on the 2nd line at some point. Demidov, Rybkin, and Misa, and then Owen Tippett, Luchenko, and Michkov. So even Demidov might find his way up there. Smith, Drysdale, Mintyukov, and Okulov. It's going to be difficult to say for both of them. Prudhomme and Southern are going to get the nod. We did end up Didn't end up buying out Sanheim's contract. But we'll look at some of the extensions that we ended up doing. We got Kristan. We ended up extending him for 3 years. Again, same thing. Carson, we ended up extending for 2. Michkov for 2 for around 4 million each. Southern's getting around a million and a bit each, and then Stenberg's getting around a million for 4 years. Fyodorov, who's now starting in the AHL, is getting 3 years. What did he sign for then? He signed for 1.5, so maybe my math is completely wrong on that one. So I guess 1.5 each year. So I'm looking at weird then. I guess yeah, Michkov is 8 million a year then. I don't know why that I thought that I was getting him for cheaper. But we got him 8 for 2, and then Demidov for 6.5. I don't know why I was reading that wrong. My sincere apologies for that. Trades wise, we did end up trading away Surin for a second round pick, and then Benak for a second round pick as well. Surin, I mean, looks okay, but in terms of depth, he probably wasn't going to make it for it. We probably would have lost him come waivers. I don't even think I ended up making that trade. Benak, who we ended up getting for, what did we get him for before? A first round pick we ended up getting him for, and we gave him up for a second. I think this is the AI once I did AI setup because that's recent. So I didn't make any of these trades. I think our AI ended up doing it. Originally they had I think Lavrov on the roster, which I then bumped down. And again, let's going to start in the AHL as well. I think yeah, Fyodorov I ended up deciding to keep, but it does look like we do have a bunch of people that are good enough to play, but not good enough to start. So even Benson, I would say, shouldn't even be on this team at the moment. So we might even look to offload him. Torquay is also a rookie as well, but Martin looks like he should be starting definitely 3 stars on any team. So we have a bunch of players that are probably good enough to start on other teams, but they're not good enough to start here. Ronberg still not signed yet. And then, yeah, Okulov is a little bit worse than Svozil, but he does have a better opportunity there to start. So we'll start the first game against Columbus, and let's see where the season takes us. We started off with a 3-0 victory there. Martin with his first, Misa and Luchenko all on the score sheet. And our first shutout of the season. Okulov is now hurt. Day to day, though, so Yerix is probably going to slot in for him. And we also have Carson, who's going to get his first start for us this season. And that's going to start in a minute against Ottawa. And let's see if he can manage to get... actually, I should have just done... Go back there. And Carson's going to start here. He was doing decent in the preseason, but didn't quite show it afterwards. We get shut out the other way, so 3-0, 3-0. Not exactly what we thought. And I thought something was going to be affected by us. But we'll delete all those because now we can push on to Buffalo here. It does look like someone has to be injured. Okulov and Prudhomme are both hurt, both to start the season. Not ideal for us. And now we head back. We head to Buffalo and we go on the road after the game against Ottawa here. 1-1. So not necessarily the greatest start, but not the worst either. We at least get the first game out of the way, but we're going to have to manage some of these injuries here. Okulov looks like he's good enough to start. We face against Buffalo here. We lose 4-3 in overtime, so now we're 1-1. Benson scores against his former team. Torquay gets his first, and then Barkey gets his first as well. We head now to Tampa. Tampa's always a weird one to go on the road after. This happened last season as well. I don't know who makes the road schedule, but the fact that we end up doing Buffalo, we do Tampa that day, it would have been weirder if we end up going back to Toronto as well, but I find that kind of odd. I understand they're the same division, but Tampa should definitely be be in a different division if it's that close. So now we end up facing off against Tampa away from home, and we lose 2-1 in regulation, so no points there. Misa with a lone goal, and we're not really getting the goals as easy as we did last season. Last season we started off hot, so definitely some changes so far. 1-2-1 is not the ideal start that we had after 4 games. So we now head home, face off against Toronto and then New Jersey. Toronto looks like they're leading the Atlantic there, and New Jersey looks like we're fighting them off for fifth spot. But it's a long season, and I thought that was us for a second. It's a long season, and it shouldn't really affect us that much. But the injuries are definitely going to be something we're going to have to work around this season. 6-1 win, not bad. Yerix gets his first. Second period, Southern, Okulov, Drysdale, and Luchenko doing pretty good. And then Demidov ends up getting the goal in the third before we end up conceding one to Nylander, which is kind of disappointing. No one likes to let in a goal like that late. It's usually a premonition for what's to come in the next game, where we end up starting off slow. Pittsburgh 3-0 though. I don't even know who they have at the moment. And Islanders are also doing pretty good. Does say Oculus primed to return. And looks like he's a 70. So let's hope for a win here. Back-to-back wins. Nope, not even close. 4-1 loss, and it seems like I was right with my prediction. You concede late in the third. You usually do pretty bad the next game, or you at least have to come back from a loss. I think that's kind of how the game seems to be designed, because it's definitely happened to us time and time again. Usually in the playoffs for sure. Cole Caulfield point streak doesn't really affect us that much. Prudhomme's still the only one that's injured, but everyone else looks like they're settling in fine. Okulov now 78%. We now head to St. Louis here. 4-3 loss, and this season seems like a rebuild season. Michkov with his first, Luchenko with his third, and then Misa with his third of the season. But not good enough. We're going to have to do some rotations here. And we have only a couple games left that we'll do, but 2-4-1. We're definitely going to have to bounce back from that. Let's see if we can beat them. We end up beating Edmonton, who are also 2-4-0. Geez, both starting slow. We do have a good second period here. Forster, Michkov, Stenberg, and Tippett before conceding early, at least in the third. But they do have at least one goal there. We do now continue on the road to Calgary and then Seattle, and then we'll probably jump to the trade deadline after these road games. And hopefully Carson can get a win here. I might elect to start him first. Okulov now picked up another injury. That guy is going to be injury prone for sure. Carson's going to start for this game here. 5-2 win. And I'm sure his grade is pretty good too. Tippett 2, Michkov gets his third, and Tippett gets his second before Demidov gets his second and Michkov gets his fourth. So at least we end up getting that. We'll play this last game against Seattle. Hopefully we get the win. They're 2-4-0 as well. So some slow starts for most of the teams. 4-4-1 after 9 games. Not the best, not the worst. But Okulov being hurt is definitely not helping us here. Managed to get shut out, so we're going to have to play the Colorado game. Colorado is going to be much more of a difficult opposition, but we'll end up playing that if we win. We'll leave it at that. If we end up losing, then I guess we'll still leave it at that. I know it's bad luck to kind of do it, but hopefully we can at least make ourselves closer to 500. But 9 points, not ideal. We'll end up adjusting the roster. We'll change some things here. Wouldn't mind that playmaker for Stenberg, and we'll leave it at that. Misa probably a better third liner anyways. We do win 5-1, so it did seem to work. Terrence Smith gets his first, Martin gets his second, and then Luchenko gets his fourth before Martin gets his third, and Michkov gets his fifth. So over, 10 games, I think, or 11 games, we will have to look at where we are in terms of our team. Luchenko with 12 points, Michkov with 11. So pretty good overall for them both, but definitely need to see them a bit more of a point per game than what they are. Tippett starting off slow with 6 points, really starting to feel his age at this point. Misa with 5, and Demidov only with 5. So we're not really scoring offensively. Grades aren't terrible, but they're not good either. So we definitely need to change something up over the next little while. We'll have to more micromanage some of our lines, but Spencer Knight starts 4-4-1 over 9 games, and Carson starts 1-1 after 2 games. 917 save percentage and 922, so we should really be doing a lot better than what we're doing just offensively, because yeah, it seems a little bit rough to start things off. We're 13th in the league. Not used to seeing that. 31 goals for, 26 against, and a difference of 5. So we'll jump to the trade deadline and see where we are at that point.
And now as we head to the trade deadline, we're currently in second in the Metropolitan. We're not doing too great, not doing too bad. We've gone on a couple streaks, but it does look like 50 wins. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle this season. We've already played 68 games, but we managed to bolster our roster just a little bit. We managed to get Thomas Hartley from Washington. I know we probably shouldn't have been able to make this trade, but they look like they're primed to get rid of him. We gave up Bruno Stables, who we recently drafted, and William Gazdag, who's 21 years old, but probably won't end up playing for us anyways. Gave up 2 7th-round picks and Svozil, who wasn't really playing that much for us anyways this season, so a player that's probably likely to play at least 20 games a season, 25. He might even start for us for the rest of the season. He is currently on a 2-year contract, $6.5 million, but we can at least afford that for this year. If we end up having to trade him, we will next season. Then we end up getting rid of Forster, who struggled to find time on our lines this season. He is 29, so I thought the best thing to do was to let him go after a brief stint in the AHL. We packaged him up with a 4th-rounder, a 6th-rounder, and Potov, who did have high potential, and we did draft him a pretty decent pick there. 6th-round pick, and does look like he's not that bad. But he doesn't really want to sign with us, so I figured we'd get rid of his rights anyways and get a player that might end up signing with us. I'm sure he probably would at this point, but yeah, his contract for KHL is ending, so he is primed to play this season anyways. But we did decide to go all in this season and get David Goyette, who looks pretty good. I mean, defensively, so-so. His offensive rating's good, physical as well, mental, pretty decent. Can play a little bit anywhere there. Probably have him more as a counter-attacking forward or a dangler if we can help it. Contract-wise, though, he is on his last year, so if we like him, we might decide to sign him again. But currently looking at our roster, and we'll do it closer to the Carolina game. I think a lot of the players are fatigued anyways. But look at the stats leading up to it. 70 points in 66 games, and a point per game for Michkov. Can't quite get over that. He is a point per game player, but I would really hope that he can get just a little bit more once he ends up getting 4.5 stars. Tippett's still producing very well, 64 and 68. Goyette before he came to us was 53. Good goals, good assists, so kind of split a little bit. Ripken there with 49 and Misa with 48. And then let's take a look at our goalies. And currently Spencer Knight 31 and 18 with a 914 save percentage. Carson's still struggling. He's 8 and 8 and 1 and 883, but he does have potential, so we're gonna have to kind of stick with it. Just not give him the keys to the castle, and I think we should be good as long as we don't overcommit to it. But either way, I don't mind that one bit, giving him the chance. Anyways, currently looking more at the trade block. I don't really want to make too many trades, and there's some that you wouldn't, but someone like Seamus Casey, we'll do this. We'll show you how unrealistic that is. Obviously, we will do make this work, and they won't do anything. We'll see if we can offer first round picks, because obviously he's worth that. We'll give up one, we'll give up another, and see. Now it ends up opening up, but they want at least 2 first rounders. In my opinion, putting someone on a trade block like that and wanting 2 first rounders does seem a little bit unrealistic. But I'd be okay with getting rid of some of these players, actually. I'll have to take a closer look at Casey. Contract, it's a contract year as well, so yeah, he's not worth that much. He's worth maybe one of those in a prospect, and not even that good of one, I would say. So I feel as though that's a bit of a reach. I don't know if we'd be able to sign him. He is pretty good offensively, though. I think we kind of just accidentally got into a trade here. I'm going to reduce it to a second, because I don't want to give up both. I'll give up our second. Now they're less interested. Simon, yeah, those are pretty good players. I guess we'll do the 2 first. I mean, lefty to go with Drysdale is pretty insane. Make this work. They want Guyette that we just got. Farkey. Torquay. We could give up Torquay. He was a 3rd round pick anyways. Speed. He is only 63 grade. Potential, it doesn't look like he's going to go much higher than that. I know as soon as we trade him, he will. I'm kind of okay with that, actually. Can we afford it, though? Like, going into next season? Because I don't want to do this if we can't. Next year's salary cap. What do we have for defenders? Drysdale would be his partner. He is also more of an offensive. He's a quarterback. We'll have to look at what he is. And we just got Hartley. We would probably have to part ways with them. Pavel would, yeah, so at least one of these 2 would have to go next season regardless. But we can afford him this season for sure. And then even Yerex might have to go as well. Could do it, but is it worth 2 first rounders for that? It's not going to let me go back. Oh no, he's right D. Okay, so he'd be probably first. Yeah, you know what? 27, same age roughly as Drysdale. I'm okay with that, actually. Who's our other... Okulov? Okulov's pretty good, though. Yeah, Okulov's pretty good. Rushing defenseman. He'd be a solid 3rd liner. Southern I do like as well. But that would be the guy that would have to go for it. I think we might actually make that trade. I am curious to see how much we'd have to sign him for, but if we're willing to do that for him, we might as well look at other players as well. Dankoven will probably ask for a lot more. So, I think the 2 lefties that we end up getting are... I mean, Terrence Smith's also offensive. We just have defensemen that don't play defense. Yeah, Hartley's kind of more of an attacking one. Yerex as well. Into Yukov. Yeah, so I don't think I can't do it. Maybe in the off season we'll look at trading for his rights and maybe give up less than 2 first rounders, but I don't think I can justify doing it. I'd have to look at also what our history is of first round picks. So looking like that, with everyone pretty much healthy, our defensive line looks like Hartley and Drysdale, Smith, Okulov, Yerrickson, Sutherland. So not too bad. Prudhomme and Mikhov on the bench is not the worst thing. I would like if one of them was a right D though. And then Luchenko and then Goyette's going to get second. Tippett is now dropped to third line there with Barkey and Martin. That's a sneaky line there. Ripken with Michkov and Stenberg with Misa. Demidov now demoted to the bottom line. I think it adjusts at some point, but for at least the rest of the season, it looks like Demidov is going to get relegated to the bottom. Maybe he can play. Wouldn't mind him here actually. How good is Misa actually doing? Misa stats 48. Yeah. He can play left wing though. Demidov more offensive, I would say. I kind of want to swap that up. Yeah. Let's Martin looks primed to do. I'd actually be even okay with this. Yeah. I think we'll end up leaving it at that. See if it works. 7-2 to start things off. Tippett, Michkov, and Barkey before Tippett, Yerix, Drysdale, and Hartley. Pretty good. 7-2 victory. And now Demidov is now going to be our a right winger instead of a left winger. I know this whole save we've tried to get him onto the top line, but he's just not. I don't know. He's just not producing the same way that we would have expected. He's been given ample opportunity. I think Owen Tippett kind of stole the limelight from him, but he's still young. He can still improve, and Luchenko also is a contributing factor as to why he didn't really make it as a left winger, though. But we'll still give him time. Still give him time to improve. But I do like the trades that we end up doing to start from the trade deadline onwards. 4-2 wins, so back-to-back wins. Smith with his 14th, Ripken and Hartley, and then Luchenko with his 25th. I'm gonna have to keep looking at assists and stuff like that. I feel as though I overlooked that just a little bit. Spencer Knight now at a 915 save percentage, top 5 of the league. I mean, there is a chance that we do make a good push, but we are at least a little bit above Capitals. That's why it seems like the Hartley trade should have never happened, because why would you trade us your defender just so we can finish ahead of you in the standings there? Connor Bedard still producing 84 and 68 games. Jesus. Where are they in the standings, though? There's their bottom. Oh my god. We're going to definitely have to do face of the franchise with Bedard. I know it should be easy, but that's just ridiculous. Even just for, like, satisfying factor. Barkey's now out. Bruce Shin. But, yeah, I think we are going to have to do one. 8-3, so we managed to win that one as well. Fyodorov, Michkov, and Southern score in the first, and then in second is Stenberg and Okulov, and then in the third is Tippett, Misa, and Demidov getting his 20th. Luchenko with 51 assists, though. It does look like this team's a little bit more solid than when we were at the beginning of the season, because we'd win 2 and then just drop a couple and then just go cold very quickly. I know that's kind of realistic to how things are, but yeah, we got really cold for some games there. Now we face off against Boston here. 6-3, so we keep the streak going. It does feel like more of a complete team. Simon Martin with his 17th, Stenberg and Fyodorov in the second, and then Demidov. Hoggins ends up scoring his 40th, so he was one of the front runners there for sure. Torquay and Goyette. How is Torquay doing? 63 grade. Yeah, we should have probably got rid of him. He is a fourth line player at the moment, though. But I can only imagine that he has to improve at that point. We've managed to close the gap on the Columbus Blue Jackets. I thought we had this league for sure in this division down pat, but I mean, with our struggles, not struggles anymore, but struggles to begin the season, I definitely thought Columbus was going to end up winning this one from us. 36th and 37th goal from Tippett. Misa with his 24th. Stenberg with his 22nd. And Martin with his 18th. Smith scores his 15th in the third. And we end up cruising through. I don't know how Montreal is doing anyways. But it does look like we're even good without Barkey. So we're actually within striking distance from Columbus. I mean, 4 points isn't that much. If we end up having to face them at some point, we could do it. 9 games though, yeah, they'd have to go on a streak, like a definite losing streak for us to even pass them. But it does look like we can put Barkey back in, and that looks like that's what happens. And Prudhomme now on the bottom line there as well. Face off against Toronto. 7-1, so keeping the win streak going. Stenberg, Barkey, and Misa and Ripken in the first, Stenberg and Barkey in the second. And then Benson scoring his 8th. Benson, I think, is going to be on his way out. He is the last year of his... Where is it? Yeah, it's last year of his contract. And $4.5 million, I don't even know what we'd have to do. We'd have to give him $6 million. I'm not prepared to do that. We're paying a little bit more next year anyways, and then also we have to worry about other contracts. Even Goyette, if he ends up doing well, he's doing well so far, so I might even see ourselves extending him as opposed to instead of worrying about Benson there. Toronto at the bottom, so 7-1 seems right, and then Detroit's at the top. So this will be more the test. We did beat Canadians, so if we can beat Red Wings, then I do like our chances in the postseason here. I don't like the fact that that Knight has started so many games. I don't like playing more than like 70, so a 3-1 win's pretty good. Scored 2 in the first, Fyodorov and Southern. And then we score in the third with Okulov to cruise to the victory here. We did concede 1 at the end, which means that we're probably going to start slow next game. Especially when we could have had a shutout. So a little disappointing. I mean, I don't think we end up beating Columbus in the standings, but I do think we probably beat them in the postseason with the team that we have now. And Winnipeg, where are they? They are currently 5th in the Central. And we face off against Chicago. Chicago has had a good record against us. And then we do get a back-to-back there as well. Ripken, I thought was going to miss some time, but I guess not. Still has a little bit of a knock. We do win 3-2 in the shootout. Hartley with his 9th, and then Goyette with his 24th. And Michkov with the only goal there. Chanko now hurt. Oh, it's red, so... Oh my god. 3 to 4 months, so we're going to be out with Luchenko. That's unfortunate. But it does give opportunity for other players. So he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. I guess this is Benson's time to shine. I'm assuming Benson's probably going to be on the 4th line there. Maybe jump to the 3rd. Ripken's also day-to-day with groin injuries. We'll do the organization again, and Benson now 3rd line center. Ripken now on the bottom line. That does kind of make sense. Let's put in Carson first. Oh, we lose 5-2. Jesus. Okay. Owen Tippett and Hartley with the only goals there. Brock Faber now with them. I do like Brock Faber. 2.5 star. That seems kind of mean. I think he's a little bit better than that. And let's look at the goalie grade. 70 grade though, so not too bad, but 886 is definitely terrible. And now Sam Martin's primed to be back. That means that he was injured as well.
To see if we can manage to beat our good friend Ottinger. We do 6-3. Tippett, Barkey in the first, Misa and Torquay in the second, and then Hartley and Benson in the third. We do face off against Dallas once again, and see if we can manage to win back-to-back games here. We did only lose one game since we started this in the latter half of the season, so we should be primed to do it as well. Hartley out as well. 10-2. Wow. Goyette with his 25th. Michkov, Southern, Ripken, and Ripken again in the second there, and then Goyette, Benson, Ripken, and Demidov. Looks like Ripken got a hat trick as well. Ripken with his 22nd. That is lights out. That is insane. I do like that. We're at 101 points. Oh my god. So we do find a way to finish. Currently we're going to be fighting to finish ahead of Columbus. That will be a shock. 3 games left and 2 points deciding it, but I think if we're tied, we might get the nod there. Carolina, big test here. We lose 4-3. Can't quite do it towards the end. We do lose in shootouts. We won't bore you with the detail. We do face off against Florida after. Florida has 38 wins. Not as killer as what they have been. 1 point away and 2 games left. So Florida is one of those teams. Interesting. We're going to have to do it again. So Florida's the one team. Not sure who the other one is. With our luck, it's going to be Chicago Blackhawks, and we're going to get destroyed again. But 71 points isn't actually that bad. It looks worse than what it is, but still finishing that low isn't ideal for such a young star like that. 6-0, so we get a shutout there. Goyette, Tippett, Ripken, and Barkey, and then Tippett and Ripken score in the third there. 6-0, a decent amount of gap between the two games. We still have one game. Wow, I haven't had a backup goalie get injured. Neck stiffness? Oh, we're fine. And then New York is the last one. It's probably going to be Rangers. Has to be Rangers, right? So 50 wins, we do actually hit that. I don't think that we're going to get first place. I think Columbus holds on. But this will be for all the marbles here. See if we can manage to at least finish ahead. Not the right New York, though, but see if we can do it. 6-2, so at least give us a chance. Goyette, Tippett, Torquay, Misa, and then Ripken. So Ripken getting... I thought he got a hat trick there. No, he only got the 2 in the third. And yeah, not good enough. So depending on if they win or lose, they finish ahead of us anyways. But we did give them a fighting chance, so I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that one bit. In the league, we finished 5th, though. And Columbus finished 2nd in the league. So decent result there. 347 over 244. So 103 goal differential. That is awesome. 29, 11, and 1 home record. 22, 16, and 3 away record. So away record not as terrible, but not the greatest. Doesn't really stand us out from anyone. It's pretty much average of what the top teams end up doing. And we'll take a look at where we finished there. Michkov, obviously Luchenko's out, so he finishes just 1 point shy of a point per game. Tippett with 76, still producing well at 32. He's one of those guys that he's going to retire on our team no matter what. We're not even going to buy him out. Even if he ends up sucking on the bottom line, we're going to have to make do. But he probably will retire as us. I imagine he retires at 34. I mean, we might even re-sign him next season. Goyette getting 73 and 78. Did get 20 points with us, so I mean, let's see what he wants. I'm open to looking at what he wants. And yeah, that's exactly what Benson wants. So Goyette, yeah.
I'd be okay with spending that. I think we might end up doing that. We might do it at the end of the season. Let's just look at how the season plays out. Goalie-wise, we'll take a look at how well our goalies have been doing. I'm more interested to see who we end up facing off against, though. Well, I guess we face off against probably Washington. So 18 games, 8 and 9 and 1, and 43 and 18 and 65. So at least he didn't play as much as what I thought. 65 seems like a normal amount. Yeah, we faced Washington. They were light years ahead of Carolina. All right, now's the nominee section. Let's see if we managed to get anything. Spencer Knight nominated for Vezina, so finally some recognition there. And then nothing else. Connor Bedard's still on the Ted Lindsay. All right, hopefully we can manage to knock out Capitals easily. We'll take a look at the other teams that managed to make the playoffs as we go. I don't know. I don't know how good Washington is nowadays. It's 2031. Ovechkin's been gone for a while. So Colorado and the Jets, I think Colorado still wins that. St. Louis and Utah. St. Louis. Utah has been terrible at winning playoffs. Anaheim, I want Anaheim to win. Seattle, I feel as though is going to win that one. Columbus, yeah, for sure. And then I assume that we do. Detroit Red Wings, and then I think Montreal as well. I think Tampa stands no chance. I said that earlier too. So we start the series off. How were we this season? 3-1 loss, 7-5 win, 5-4 loss, and then 4-2. So 500 basically, but that's 7 goals. It was back when we weren't doing that great. So the only one that was recent was a 4-2 win, and I will take that for sure. In terms of goals, though, 344 versus 271, and goals against is going to be the important one. We are neck and neck in goals against, so could be a fight defensively. Penalty kill we're always really good at, and then even power play. I mean, 22 goals is apparently the top one. That seems odd. Or power play against, sorry. Power play goals, though, we rank bottom of the league actually, so we're not that good that way. So we face the first game at home. Let's see if we can manage to get the result there. We win 6-0. That is very convincing. Goyette putting the team on his back. Tippett, Barkey, and Tippett, and then Demidov in the first. So great first, and then Barkey getting a goal in the third for the nail in the coffin there. That's what I like to see. It's nice to see McTavish still on their team too. Carson returns, but I don't think that should matter. Game 2, 5-2 victory, so we do let them score. Tippett in the first, and then Misa in the second, which ties it up, and then Okulov, Tippett, and Drysdale all in the third. That's what I like to see. 2-0 going to Washington. Can we manage to keep it? I think we can keep it going. I think I hear a broom. I think we managed to do it. Now in Washington, let's see if we got it. 3-1 loss, no sweep, and Hoffer in the first for them, and he scores in the third. Terrence Smith with the only goal in the second, and then a blank third period. Demidov now hurt. Oof. How long? 2 to 3 months, ruptured Achilles. Jesus. And this is how it ends now. Alright. We'll take a look at who replaces him. But I do think Sam Martin could be the guy, for sure. I think he's that good. Yeah, Sam Martin's going to play there. We're going to show you what he looks like after. Kreistan now coming up. Not too bad. Torquay now on the left wing as well. Valentini coming up for the playoffs. Sam Martin, not too bad. I mean, 4.5 potential. Scouting report here. He's just as good as Devin Barkey, but obviously will be better in the future. And then, yeah, He scores high on the IQ test. Mark isn't in it for the money, which is probably good for us. We can probably extend him for nothing. So let's see if we can manage to win and claim this series. We do lose 1-0, so it's tied up. Hoffer with the lone goal. Unfortunate. So it is tied up. We go back home here. Colorado looks like they're cruising through as well. So longer series for us. 8-5 win there. So whatever home team it is winning. Tippett with the first goal. Ripken, Martin, Michkov, Prudhomme, Southern. Oh my god. So action-packed second. We do let them kind of in the game, and then Goyette ends up putting it beyond doubt. And now Torquay's hurt. What does he have? Strain groin. Alright. 4-1 for LA. Anaheim ties 3-3. And let's see if we can beat Washington away from home here. Managed to do it 2-1. We cruise on through. Only score in the first though. Tippett and Misa. And not too bad. 4-2. Utah ends up actually winning. That is surprising. And Minnesota knocks out Anaheim. That's disappointing. We do face off against Columbus now, so it's going to be the ultimate test of the division. I do think Colorado wins that. And I'm going to go with Minnesota now. And then, yeah, I was right about those. A sweep and then almost a sweep. So, probably, I'm going to go with Montreal, actually. And let's see what our roster is going to look like for this game. Goyette on the top line now. Tippett now brought down. And Eklund's now making his debut. Valentini's on the bottom line. And Sam Martin's on the second line. Doing pretty good, if I do say so myself. First game of the season that we played them was a 3-0 victory. 5-2 loss. But it looks like whoever's home was winning initially. We do manage to break that 4-1. And then we end up losing. So series is pretty even. If we can get the first game out of the way and win away from home, we should be good. And we don't. 4-3 loss in overtime. Valentini with his first. Goyette and Benson with goals as well. But Fantilli putting the dagger at the end in her coffin. Oh, Martin involved in an off-ice incident. That is not good. I don't know why those happen frequently enough and inopportune times. Why would there be an incident in the playoffs? We're going to ignore that and move on. Game 2, 4-2 loss. Not good. Okulov gets a goal and then Ripken as well, but Fantilli scoring his third and deciding to show up against us, which is frustrating. We now go back home. Hopefully we can turn this around. But the injuries might be piling up too much. Game 3. 4-0. We're back in the series, boys. Goyette with the goal. Valentini and Barkey, and then Barkey scoring once more. And Okulov now hurt as well, but it should just back stiffness. He should, like, that's ridiculous. He should be able to push through. I don't like the yellow ones. I feel as though they shouldn't affect their stamina that much, right? Like they play one game and then it gets dropped down to like 40. But it's like back stiffness. If he can play one game, he should be able to tough it out and play a couple. Monthly budget, nothing to see there. Montreal leads 2-1, so it looks like I'm right on that. Utah 2-1 though. So I might be wrong about that. Colorado might be too old though. I know McKinnon has been on the trade deadline or trade block. Phil Kessel, gotta go Phil Kessel, but Kevin Hatcher's, I like Kevin Hatcher more. Phil Kessel will be my next nomination for sure. Stats speak for itself. See if we can tie up the series here. And we do 4-1. Not quite a show, but good enough. We do concede early in the first. Tippett, Stenberg, and then Martin and Pavel. Pavel getting a unlikely start there. Utah up 3-1, tied with Montreal though. Martin involved in another one. That is ridiculous. This has to stop. 3-1 lead for Montreal. I thought it said 2-2, but maybe I was looking at us. I don't really want to mess with anything, so we'll kind of leave it as is. 6-1 loss. Oh my god. The only goal was Martin, so that's probably why everyone's pissed off about him. Utah end up beating Colorado. And let's just hope for a result here. We go back home here. Home team has won every game so far, and we continue to let it roll. 4-3 win in regulation. Michkov with only his second. Fyodorov with his first, and then his second in the second. Goyet with his fifth. And then we end up conceding 2 in the third. I don't like that. It hasn't worked out well for us in the past, and series tied 3-3. Okulov still not good enough to play. Let's see if we can break the streak away from home here. And we do. We managed to beat them. Oh my god. Martin, Ripken, and Tippett score, and only in the first, and then nothing else throughout the rest of the game. On to Cincinnati. LA now ends up knocking out Minnesota. So we face off against Montreal. The save that we end up having the last FHM 10, but it's a new era now. We got to show them who's boss. So games that we played them, we lost 6-2, we won 4-2, and then we won 6-3. Does look like whoever's away is doing, or was doing the bidding, but I guess we won the second one. So it doesn't quite hold up, but 2-1 series. Hopefully can manage to maintain that. Let's go game 1. We are away from home though, so that's a little bit disappointing. Which I don't know if we, oh, I guess they finished 1 point ahead of us. That is rough. Offensively, pretty much the same. Goals against pretty much the same. So it's a pretty even thing. We only have the edge on matchups. So let's see if we can manage to get it. Game 1 in the books. 4-3 loss. Overtime though. Urix, Hartley, Misa, and that is it. That is very unfortunate. Game 2 though. I think we can come alive. We were close. We had our hands on it. Utah proving me wrong and actually doing something in the playoffs. Okulov still not even good enough to start though. They don't want to take that chance. Game 2 in Montreal. 7-5 loss. Jesus. Hartley gets a goal there. Stenberg, Michkov now getting his third, and Ripken getting his fourth. Misa scoring in the third, but that's where we fell apart. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Audelius end up being our demise, scoring a shorthand and empty net goal at the end. We even had a power play that we could have came back, so ultimately disappointing. 2-0 lead for Utah. Just watch, they're going to win too. Torquay looks like he's ahead of schedule. Drysdale's hurt. Bruised thumb. Come on, that affects his fitness. Okay. Now at home, let's see if we can manage to keep us in this. 5-2 we don't. We're going to get swept. Tippett ends up getting it. Cole Caulfield, unfortunately, our demise. Sam Martin with his fifth. Hopefully everyone takes note here. This looks like it's back-to-back conference finals that we're going to now lose. 3-0. We can come back, right? Utah up 3-0 as well. Got to change something. Drysdale now hurt, but Hartley now coming back. Yeah, no, we're doing sniper. Alright, all in offense. Let's see if we can manage to get it. 6-3. We got swept. For the second time in the series, we get swept. Goyet gets his 6th. Tippett gets his 10th. And then Misa with his 5th.
ultimately knocking us out. Now I kind of want to, I still want Montreal to win. At least represent. That's so disappointing. 3-1. Utah's going to screw this up. Torquay now back, but I do think we definitely missed our players there for sure. Luchenko, still 1 to 2 months. Same thing with Demidov. I think those two blows were definitely ones that ruined it for us. Utah now 4-1. And I do think there's a chance. Utah 1-0. Montreal should win. Come on. Let's be real here. 2-0. Oh my god, they won both away from home. If it's a sweep again, it's going to be 3-0 now. Yep. Utah proving me wrong. My god. And a sweep. Wow, Cole Beaudet. I like him as well. Which is funny, I like Logan Cooley. So I don't know why I ruled them out, but Utah ends up winning their first ever. Not only just for them, but even the whole franchise, even before. So Phoenix never won, and Winnipeg never won. So making history here. Let's take a look at how well we did in the playoffs, though, with our players. I mean, Tippett's still doing great. 17 and 17. Ripken with 14. Michkov only with 11, though, so more assists than anything. Sam Martin with 9. And one of the reasons why we wouldn't get Guyette is only 8 is not good enough for me. 20 minutes of ice time, 8 is not good. I don't like that. 8-7-2, 9-0-7 save percentage, 2.88 goals against. Unfortunately, that screwed us. We'll take a look at our stats here. GM career stats. So after almost 600 games, we do get around 579, 346 of them being wins, 199 losses, and 34 overtime losses. So not bad for us after this mark, but we'll take a look at our franchise player here once I find him. And let's look at Michkov's stats. So 526, 225 goals, 299 assists, 524 points. So I mean, career point per game player, that is pretty good. I mean, obviously want him to do more, and I want him to see more in the postseason, but maybe he just needs more help. Postseason numbers are 143 and 130, so he does show up sometimes in the playoffs, sometimes not till a little bit later. This one being probably one of his worst outings, I will say that. But I think we can bounce back, and hopefully next season's going to be a little bit better. We're going to have to make some changes. I'm tired of getting knocked out just before the finals and not winning. So let's see what we can do for that. And thank you for watching. Until next time.